Have a listen to these characters and you tell me if they're offensive. Su Muslim, Taekwon Hindu, Ninju, and Crisscross. Together, these four characters make up God's Gang, a multicultural, multinational superhero group taking on various villains and spreading the word of peace, kindness, and unity. When you think about it, this is no different to a superhero movie. If Iron Man and Captain America existed, they would be worshipped like gods. A cult would follow. All the characters have superhuman abilities based on their respective faith. It's a family fun show aimed at a universal audience. Take Crisscross here. His mission is love, a universal theme, and his special move...
Special move, cheek action.
I'm starting to see why this show is aimed for a vague audience range of 9 to 19. You don't want to be too much of a kid show. It wants to appeal to an older demographic. A teenager struggling with his faith suddenly finds hope when he sees Ninju showing off his hidden NBA talents. Oh yeah, and scientists and aliens are bad. They're the villains. Religious faiths might not all get along, but when science and facts threatens their beliefs, they set aside their differences and fight the one thing that's stopping all religions from being relevant. Alright, let's get to know the main gang, God's Gang. Starting with Crisscross. He's strong and kind combined. He's secretly a mama's boy. I don't know what they're implying. Anyway, moving on to Su Muslim. His stories are hypnotizing. He's a culinary chef. Taekwon Hindu is telepathic. She can read animals' minds through her bindi. And then there's Ninju. I feel like the creators hate this character. They made him short, they gave him a cranky, stereotyped voice, and they didn't even compliment his powers during the song. They just pointed out that he's always over-analyzing. He's not strong, he's not telepathic, he's just trying too hard. The weird thing is that the creator of God's Gang is by a Jewish man named Nimrod Avram May. He worked on Disney Channel and various other junior programs. He made God's Gang because he feared that a lot of animated shows featured too much violence, sex, and offered no values on friendship and kindness, while at the same time showing Robot Chicken in the background as your argument, a show specifically aimed for adults on an adult network, which completely contradicts what he's saying. And during this campaign, he doesn't discuss his goals on what he hopes to achieve with God's Gang, just pointing out what his crew have worked on in the past. I get the intention. He wants to show people of different backgrounds banding together as one community without any prejudice, proving that kindness and love can triumph over evil, or aliens and scientists in this case. But the show plays everything too safe, lacking in both comedic innovation and meaningful messaging, failing to deliver on the promises made by the creator. The humour in God's Gang falls flat, relying on tired cliches and uninspired jokes. Instead of exploring genuinely witty and thought-provoking humour, the show opts for safe, predictable gags that fail to engage viewers on a deeper level. Despite the potential for rich character arcs and nuanced exploration of faith and identity, the characters in God's Gang remain one-dimensional and superficial. Rather than delving into the complexities of their backgrounds and beliefs, the show glosses over these aspects, opting for simplistic portrayals that lack depth. While the show promises to convey messages of peace, kindness, and unity, these themes are presented in a shallow and superficial manner. Now that may seem harsh when you consider who it's aimed for. I wouldn't want to make those 19-year-olds feel uncomfortable, but there is a lot of fluff in the characters and their messages. There is no weight, no sign of defiance among the characters to complicate the story. Ninju is just upset he's short. That's the grudge he has throughout the episode. You needed to have one of the characters to have some fight back about them. Someone who causes conflict but his intentions are good in heart. Kind of like Raphael in Ninja Turtles. His rebellious nature offers entertainment and relatability, making him a polarizing character, but one that keeps you invested in the story. It's also a realistic feature that adds depth to a character, something that none of the characters in God's Gang has. Instead of tackling challenging social issues or exploring the complexities of religious diversity, God's Gang offers simplistic, feel-good messages that lack substance because how they're overcoming the obstacles isn't very unique or difficult. They just pray until their powers reach full limit and defeat the enemy. That's how they resolve their problems. Praying is not all you need to overcome obstacles. Despite the creator's promises of delivering meaningful content, God's Gang ultimately fails to offer any real value to its audience. The show's messages are lacking nuance and depth. Instead of sparking meaningful conversations or fostering genuine empathy and understanding, God's Gang delivers trite platitudes that fail to leave a lasting impact on viewers. Given its premise of featuring heroes from different religious backgrounds, God's Gang had the potential to explore important social issues and promote interfaith dialogue. However, the show squanders this opportunity, opting for safe, apolitical storytelling that shies away from addressing real-world challenges and conflicts. Rather than pushing boundaries and challenging conventional norms, God's Gang adheres to a formulaic approach to storytelling. By playing it safe and avoiding controversial topics or provocative themes, the show fails to spark meaningful conversations or inspire genuine reflection among its audience. God's Gang falls short of its promises, delivering a lackluster and uninspired viewing experience that fails to engage viewers on both a comedic and intellectual level. Throughout this episode, all 4 characters mention how boring and long their religious education is. For instance, Crisscross alludes to Sunday school feeling as long as eternal life, and I was very confused by these comments. Children who get bored during Sunday school don't really grow up to be religious, they grow up to be non-believers. Or according to the creators of God's Gang, scientists. All 4 of them share mutual boredom for their education about their respective faiths. So at what point did they become dedicated to God? I guess the only reason they did this is because the show is aimed for children, up to 19. And being bored at Sunday school is a relatable topic, but look, they have superpowers because they believe in God. I'm struggling to understand the whole point of God's Gang. Why was it really made? What messages and lessons does it hope to instill on the audience? Having 4 people from different faiths come together and cooperate peacefully is a good lesson, but their adventures don't make any sense when it comes to religious topics. Fighting aliens and scientists to protect wildlife and nature has nothing to do with being religious. Yes, they respect nature and claim to value every being in life, unless you're gay. But if you want to help with the environment because you care about the world, that's something you do for the good of your heart, whether you're religious or not. In God's Gang, they don't implement the morals and beliefs of their faiths with any profound purpose. They just talked about how they hated being a kid in Sunday school, and let's go and save some whales and beat up some gay aliens. To the target audience, this just encourages children to daydream during Sunday school about saving the world from supervillains and coming up with names like Taekwon Hindu and Ninju. The show establishes them as an experienced team. It would have been interesting to see how they became a team in the first place. 4 people from different backgrounds of different faiths being at odds with one another would have been a great character development. It would also teach children to learn and accept people of different faiths, but that is all thrown out of the window when you get the Muslim character to throw a bomb at the enemy. Did they really think that was a good idea? The use of character names like Ninju, Taekwon Hindu, Sue Muslim and Crisscross in God's Gang could be perceived as potentially offensive or insensitive, depending on individual perspectives. While some may view these names as light-hearted and humorous, others may find them disrespectful or trivializing of religious and cultural identities. The portrayal of Sue Muslim throwing a cartoon bomb at the enemy is extremely problematic in my view, as it plays into negative stereotypes associated with Muslims and terrorism. This kind of imagery encourages harmful stereotypes and contributes to misconceptions about certain religious groups. Additionally, the use of stereotypes in character design and portrayal, such as giving Ninju a stereotypical voice or presenting Taekwon Hindu as telepathic through her bindi, could also be seen as offensive or reductive. It's important to consider the potential impact of such representations, especially in a show aimed at a diverse audience. While humor can be a powerful tool for addressing sensitive topics, it should be approached with caution and sensitivity to avoid causing offense or perpetuating harmful stereotypes. Ultimately, whether God's Gang is truly offensive depends on individual perspectives and cultural sensitivities. However, it's essential for creators to be mindful of the potential impact of their work and strive to promote inclusivity, respect, and understanding in their portrayal of religious and cultural identities. God's Gang presents a mixed bag of potential offenses and comedic intentions. The character names walk a fine line between playful wordplay and potentially insensitive stereotyping. The show's attempts at humor and messaging also raise concerns. While humor can be a powerful tool for addressing sensitive topics, God's Gang often relies on simplistic jokes and stereotypes, which fall flat on so many occasions. The show's portrayal of characters like Ninju and Taekwon Hindu, while potentially well-intentioned, could be seen as reductionist or caricatured, failing to capture the depth and complexity of their respective religious traditions. In evaluating God's Gang, it's crucial to acknowledge the importance of intention versus impact. While the creators may have intended the show to be a light-hearted exploration of diverse faiths and cultures, its executions fall short in delivering meaningful and respectful representations, even if it is aimed at a young audience. Moving forward, creators of similar projects should prioritize sensitivity, cultural competence, and authenticity in their portrayals of religious and cultural identities. By doing so, they can create content that not only entertains but also educates and fosters an understanding among audiences of all backgrounds. Only then can the show fulfill its goal of promoting peace, kindness, and unity in our media landscape.